Hello everyone. Growing tomatoes in pots or planters on your balcony isn't rocket science. However, there are a couple details to keep in mind along the way. Tomatoes should be transplanted as deep as possible, preferably to the base of the leaves. This allows them to form more roots at the bottom of the stem and ensure an adequate supply of water and nutrients when growing tomatoes in pots or planters containers. Stick a long wooden rod or a stick in next to the plants, which you can tie the plant off to later. This is still possible down the road. However, it may damage the roots. If you still have a bit of space in the pot or box, you can plant or transplant additional tomato plants when planting your tomatoes in larger pots or planters. Some good neighbors to keep in mind are basil, nasturtium, and spinach. These plants provide ample shade at the base of plants and prevent moisture from evaporating as quickly. Tomatoes absolutely love sun and warm temperatures and do not tolerate frost. Whether you are planting tomatoes in pots on your balcony or in a sunny spot in your garden, timing is crucial. In most rains of the United States, tomatoes are a late spring and early summer crop, usually planted mid to late May. Be careful when moving or transplanting the tomato seedlings to an outside environment. It is possible to grow tomatoes in a pot or larger container on your balcony, but too much sunlight can give them sunburn. The leaves will begin to curl and shrivel up. Instead, leave your tomato plants outside for a couple hours on the day one, a little longer on day two, and so on. This process of hardening of tomato seedlings or acclimating tomatoes to outdoor growing conditions work best over a 10-day period. When growing tomatoes in pots or containers on your balcony, you may ask yourself whether pruning is absolutely necessary for the majority of tomato varieties. It's a good idea to prune out new sprouts as they emerge from the main stems. These are not harmful to the plant, however, they cost the tomato plant energy it needs to flower and produce fruit. Unkept sprouts could lead to a smaller harvest. Powdery mildew, late blight, and brown rot are only a couple examples of plant diseases that pose serious problem for tomatoes. Once they are there, they can be extremely hard to get rid of. To prevent these and other fungal diseases, be sure to cover the plants, ensure proper air circulation and distance between each plant, and fertilize them carefully. You can also regularly spray the milk or both from common horsetail grass on the leaves. Infested parts of the Infested parts of the plant should always be removed as soon as possible. Tomatoes consist of more than 90% water, and that water has to come from somewhere when growing tomatoes. You should water the plants regularly. Without enough water, the plants may burst open. In terms in turn, this can result in the development of mold and other plant diseases. At the same time, tomatoes don't tolerate overwatering. Pouring rain can break off delicate sprouts, and too much water can also lead to plant diseases. When growing tomatoes in pots, it's important to keep an eye out for excess water buildup and excessively dampened soil. Growing tomatoes in pots or containers outside on or on your balcony also requires that you keep them in a safe place which is sheltered from the rain. When it's time for a drink, water tomato plants at the base of the plant and ground level and not from above or over the leaves. This is best done in the cooler morning hours, and irrigation system with clay cones or homemade from bottles also help the plants survive hot summer days. Soil covering mixed cultures or a mulch layer ensure that the moisture doesn't evaporate as quickly. Wilted tomatoes, leaves, and pruned sprouts are also suitable layering material. And now, the final step, harvesting, is just as important. In most cases, ripe tomatoes are red, unripe tomatoes remain green due to the plant's natural defense system. The chemical solanine, but what about green or yellow tomatoes? In doubt, stick to this simply rule of thumb. If the skin is relatively soft and you can pick the fruit off the vine with ease, it's usually safe to eat. Guys, if you like this information, please like, share, and subscribe my channel. Thank you, friends.